So looking at the front part of your opener, it says an Apple iPad Pro is $799. If you want to buy one from one of two places, so you're trying to find the better deal. So you can either buy it from Target in Belleville, which is $779 with a 9.1 tax increase, or you can get it from Amazon, which is $799, but the tax is only 6%. Shipping's free. So we need to determine which place, Target or Amazon, would it be the better deal to buy the iPad? Okay. So looking at this, which notes am I going to use? Yeah, nice job. So we're going to use the percent increase, decrease notes. Grab your binder. I totally just put your quiz in my mouth. I'm sorry. Probably wasn't the most hygienic thing to do. There you go. I wiped it off. Okay. So, percent increase, decrease notes. So we're going to do the percent increase, decrease 2 times because we have to find it for Target. Then we have to find it for Amazon. When I'm using my percent increase, decrease notes, what's my step 1 say to do? Start with 100%. Okay. Step 2 is what? Okay, what's my percent change in this first one? Good, 9.1% tax. Because it's a tax, is that a plus or a minus? Yeah, it's going to be a plus. It's going to be an increase in the price. So 100% plus 9.1%, which equals, I should see calculators out. Good, so now we have 109.1%. So we've completed step 1, step 2. Step 3 says I need to do what? To change the percent to a decimal, which will then get us our multiplier. Okay, what's that going to equal?
1.09.
Okay, now I go to step 4. Step 4 says to, what's my step 4? With my original amount. What's my original amount for the Target iPad? Well, it's $20 off of $799, which would make it how much? $779. So I'm going to take $779 times our multiplier, which is 1.091. When I multiply those two together, what am I going to get? $217.109. Okay. Now we're dealing with money, so we're going to round to which place value? The hundreds, or we call it the nearest cent. So we look at the number behind the hundreds. Is that 5 or greater?
Yep.
So that 0 goes up to a. So my answer is going to be $217 and how many cents? Huh? 11 cents. Good, and box it. Okay, so from Target, it's going to cost $217.11. So now, Cody, get your calculator out. Now, we need to see what it's going to cost from Amazon. Okay, so Amazon, it's $799, but the tax is only 6%. Target, the tax is higher, but the price was cheaper. So let's see. Okay, so step 1, Daisha said we start at 100%. Okay. Step 2, add or subtract our percent. So what am I going to do? Where's my percent? It's tax, so I'm going to add plus 6%. Hey, you need to catch up. Let's go. 106% equals 1.06. Good. Okay? Now I'm going to take this multiplier and multiply it by what? That's my multiplier. What am I going to multiply? The 799. Yeah, my original amount. Good.
That is 825.
Exact? 825 exact? 0.74? Just like that?
What's 106?
1.06. I don't remember.
There's
Okay.
no point in there.
Yeah, there is. Oh, it wasn't. I forgot my critiquer's back. It was there. It's not big enough. Okay, so which one's the. Guys, we did something wrong. Something is so wrong.
You did it right?
No. Something's really wrong.
What is it?
In your calculators, which of these prices don't make sense? Look at this, 217 and 825. Go back up to here, take 779 times 1.091 again for me.
$849.
There you go.
That's it.
Oh my goodness.
So we got 871.709, right? Okay, so we're still rounding to the same place value. So that 0 is still going to go to a 1, but our number is totally different. So it's going to be $871.71. Woo! I started looking at that and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Okay, sorry about that. Now, at Target, you can buy it for $779 with a 9.1% tax. Amazon sells it, but it's more expensive for $799, but the tax is cheaper. According to what you would pay at each place, which is the better deal, Amazon or Target? Which one's cheaper, Amazon or Target? Amazon, yeah. So which one's the better deal? Amazon. Now, when we did our math incorrectly, it was Target, but that made no sense how that would have worked. Okay. I wonder if you divided. I wonder if you hit divided instead of multiply. All right, flip it over. The back side, I like. The front side I like because it's obviously talking about money and deals and shopping, which I enjoyed.
There you go.
But the back side I like because it keeps me sharp in my mathematical
Hey, can
computations.
you do arrow to A, Z? Like I did?
Amazon, it's little.
All right. So the back side, my directions say, complete the following chart by converting each type of number into the other types. Be sure to show all work if necessary. Round answers as indicated. So if we need to round the decimals, we're going to round it to the nearest thousand. If we get a percent, we're going to round it to the nearest tenth. Okay? So I have a fraction. My first row here, I have a fraction. I need to change this fraction to a decimal. Then I need to change it to a percent. How do I change a fraction to a decimal? Divide. Good. So I'm going to show my work. I'm going to put 6 divided by 7 equals, when I type in 6 divided by 7, what do I get?
0.857142857.
0.857142857. Okay, I'm going to run out of room. Which number is in my thousands place value? I heard it. 7. So everything behind the 7 I'm going to get rid of, except for the number directly behind the 7 I have to use to determine if I round that 7 up or if it stays the same. Based on the number directly behind the 7, what does the 7 do? Stays the same. So I'm going to have 0.857 as my final answer. Okay. Now, I'm going to take this decimal that I have, and I'm going to change it to a percent. How do I change a decimal to a percent?
put the percentage on it.
Nah, I can't just slap a percent on there.
Yeah.
How do I change the decimal to a percent? I can move the decimal to the which direction? To the right twice, or I can not divide. Times. So if I move the decimal to the right twice, I'm going to get 85.7 what? Percent. If I multiply it by 100, I'm going to get the same thing. Now, if I would have used this big long number, it still would have ended up being the same answer, so I'm not worried about changing it. So we're going to leave it as 85.7%. Now, if you notice, I did show my work. I showed my work in two different spots. You cannot just put 85.7 and expect to get credit. I either need to see this or I need to see the times 100 to show me how you got there. Okay. This next row, they gave me the percent, so I'm going to have to take this percent and change it to a decimal or change it to a fraction. So, Danielle, do you want to change the percent to a decimal or to a fraction? To a fraction. Okay, how do you change a percent to a fraction? Anytime you change a percent to a fraction, what's your denominator going to be? Percent means out of 100. So our denominator is going to be 100. So if our denominator is 100, what's our numerator going to be? 48. Now fractions are a little bit more difficult because once we get the fraction, we're still not done with them because we have to simplify or reduce it. So remember, your calculators can do the work for you. You just have to hit 48, ABC, which is the fraction button, 100, and that'll go ahead and reduce it for you. What do you get? 12 over 25. Y'all agree with her? Because everybody agreed with the answer on the previous page and we were way off. So double check. 48 divided by 2. 24, 50. I think I do agree. Questions on that? Okay.
No.
Now, you guys actually have two choices. You can either change this fraction to a decimal, or you can change the percent to a decimal.
Which one's easier?
They're both, I was going to say, are the same. They're equally easy to me because it's not a lot of mental math or it's not a lot of steps. So to change a fraction to a decimal, we just divide. To change a percent to a decimal, we just divide as well. But we have to divide by 100. So are we doing fraction to decimal or percent to decimal? AJ?
Fraction to decimal.
You say fraction to decimal? All right, how do I do that again?
You would divide by 12 and 25.
So 12 divided by 25, which gets me
12. We give you, wait. Oh, 0.48.
perfect. Nice. Now, if I would take, what if I take 48 divided by 100? And we get the same thing, right?
Yep.
All right. Make sure you show your work. Moving down to our last row. So our last row, this time we have the decimal. We have to change that decimal to a fraction and change the decimal to a percent. Now, changing a decimal to the fraction, I feel like is the hardest one. Because you really have to know your place values pretty good. So when you change a decimal to a fraction, you look at your number. You identify the last digit, and you have to determine what place value is that last digit in. So what place value is that 5 in? 1,000. So 1,000 becomes our, what? Our denominator. So what's our numerator then? Mm-hmm. Now, what if you're really bad at remembering place values? What's a little cheat way that you could do this?
Buy a sheet.
What's the cheat way that we showed you in class?
Oh, you stick it back.
Nah.
Don't you look?
Yeah.
So you put your 1 in the 1 spot, and then for every number behind the decimal you put a 0, which still equals 1,000. Okay, so fractions, 225 over 1,000. I know I'm not done with this because I need to reduce. 225 over 1,000 in simplest form is what? Hmm? 9 over 40. Kalon's checking it.
Yeah. 2.25.
You're dividing. What you're going to do, you're going to take 225, ABC button. There you go.
Oh, that's smooth. 9 over 40.
I've only been talking about it for October. All right, last one here. So now we need to change either the fraction to a percent or the decimal to a percent. I think it's easier. Do you guys want to know my advice? What do you guys? Which one do you think is going to be easier? Fraction to a percent or a decimal to a percent?
Decimal to a percent.
Yeah, decimal to a percent. How do I change a decimal to a percent? How many times? 1, 2. So my answer is going to be 22.5 what? Percent.
So this is basically like a factory. Like
I'm not understanding your
a
question.
factory.
A factory?
Yeah, like what's one problem?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like kind of an assembly line. Ah, what are we looking at? How do you change a fraction to a percent?
Like what you just did right
Don't you shrug your shoulders at me? You all have note sheets that tell you.
You can multiply by 100.
Part of it's going to be that. To change a decimal to a percent, you can also multiply by 100. But if you're starting at a fraction and you want to turn this fraction all the way to a percent, how are you going to change that fraction all the way to a percent?
You gotta divide it. Don't you multiply by 100?
Good. So you divide the numerator by denominator, then you multiply it by 100.